Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually going to be a Q&A. I posted this on my story today, so this video is probably going to go up. Maybe I'll do it today, maybe it'll be later today or tomorrow. I've not actually looked at the questions yet. I've got them up on my phone, but I have no idea what you guys have asked me. And the ironic thing is that I did a Q&A about a week ago, and from the 24-hour period, I probably got a similar amount of responses to what I got for this one in the past hour and a half. So I posted on my story asking you guys to ask me personal questions. So anything, it can be related to business, it can be personal. I don't really mind. I thought we might as well do a honest, transparent Q&A. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I guess we'll see what you guys have asked me. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So let me start from, where should we start? Let's start from the top. So I'm not going to go through all of them because I feel like I would be talking forever, but let me think of a couple of things. So, what do you do to cheer yourself up, to chill and enjoy life? Any tips? This is a great question. I would say it's definitely different now that we're in lockdown. So obviously before, to go and cheer myself up or like to chill and like have fun, I'm guessing this is if you're in a little bit of a low dip, like a low mood, low energy, which I have been going through more often in lockdown than before, which is like natural. It's like natural cycles of just like your moods going up and down. What I used to do is get outside. Like being outside is one of the best things I think for clearing your head, and like going outside either without your phone or like without any music at all and going somewhere just remote, like away from people. And just being outside in nature and just kind of forgetting about the rest of the world for a little bit really helps me clear my head. I'm gonna do the rest of the answers relating to lockdown because I feel like a lot of you are gonna be at home. I know in London, because I'm currently in Cape Town, but I know in London it's pretty chill there. I know a lot of my friends, and if you're watching this, you guys have been awful at social distancing, like really bad, judging you a little bit. But I know that in the other parts of the world, it's a little bit more relaxed. People are kind of going out, hanging out with their friends, like certain group sizes and stuff. So for the rest of you that maybe can't do that, I would recommend trying to socialize with whoever you can, like whether it's in person or not. So if you have a flatmate, hang out with them. Like I live with one of my mates, and I mean, we've both been really busy recently, and he normally works in the office and he's just started going back, so he's not going to be at home during the day anymore. But we would like hang out together in the evenings. And I found the first like month and a half of quarantine and self-isolation, no problem. Like I was super happy, such a good workflow. Like my business was going really, really well. It still is, but my energy has started to trail. My motivation, my productivity levels have kind of fluctuated a little bit more, and it's more obvious when there's no work-life separation basically, which I'll get into in a sec. But what we've been doing is we just hang out in the evening. So we like watch an episode of TV or like watch a movie together. On the weekends, we still do this most of the time. Like every Saturday, we'll normally do a braai, which is a barbecue for those of you in the UK, because I didn't know what that was either. It's the same thing as barbecue basically, I think. But they insist that you call it a braai. So we do braais like every weekend. We'll go get like barbecue food, have a braai together, and it's just really chill, and it's nice to like engage and like speak to somebody else without having a screen in between you. Aside from that, if you are living alone, FaceTime your friends and do it on Zoom. Like have a group Zoom call with your mates, check in with your family, make sure that you stay connected to the real world and you're having conversations about what's happening and you're speaking about how you feel, because a lot of the time it's easy to get into a low mood or into like a darker place because you are not expressing how you really feel, or you don't get to channel that energy and that emotion and get it out and process it. Because for example, with myself, I'm quite a private person, but with my friends and like close people to me, I need to share how I feel. I need to talk about how I feel, and it helps me process it. So if I've got something that's on my mind, once I speak about it, I can only like self-help, because as I talk about it, I'll be like, it's helping me see it in this way. So it kind of helps me like process it when I speak about it verbally, not just in my head. So if you think you need cheering up, speak to your friends, like speak to people that are close to you, speak to people that care about you, speak about how you feel, because most likely they feel the same way. or they've been through it in the past and they can give you some advice on how you can cheer up and maybe help you see your situation from a different light, which isn't as bad as how you see it yourself. Because I think a lot of the time we see situations as much worse while it's happening compared to somebody on the outside who has like a logical point of view, not an emotional point of view. And also after it's happened, we're like, why did that even affect me so bad? Like, it wasn't even that big of a deal. So I would say socializing in any way you can really helps. The next thing would be meditation. So having time for you, like quiet, alone time to just process, be there, be at one with your thoughts. If you don't know how to do this without kind of assistance, then I'd recommend Headspace. I go between using Headspace and just doing it without. But Headspace really helps. I think they're still doing it like this. I know that when I signed up, it was free, like 10 free sessions until you have to pay. And I don't think the membership is that expensive, but Headspace is good. Calm is also really good. I use their rain sound to sleep at night, but Headspace is good. 10 minutes a day, just have a morning routine in place, have structure in place. This has helped me so much in terms of staying emotionally stable. Having a morning and a nighttime routine and creating work, chill separation has been essential, because I know that as soon as I slack on those things, I get more stressed, my anxiety increases, I'm on my phone more, and it's literally all like social media and lack of structure. We all need a bit of structure, and when you don't have a plan, you don't have an end goal, you don't know what to do with yourself, that leads to even more procrastination because you've got more time to think, you have decision fatigue, you're just overwhelmed with to do, and then, yeah, it kind of just becomes a bit of a mess. So have a structure, have a morning routine in place, meditate. I know I've kind of said these in a little bit of a mix-up order, but you know what I mean. So hanging out with people, socializing as much as you can within like in a safe environment. I'm not saying go and have a party.
You know, that first batch of margaritas was not so great, but the second batch is good.
But if you can interact with somebody that you live with, make a point to have time for that, and then make sure that you are speaking with people online, like your friends and families, having phone calls. Make sure that you try and meditate once a day, and then have a routine. They would be my 4 tips to staying healthy and happy. So next question. Do you believe in the law of attraction? Can you tell a personal story? Do I believe in the law of attraction? I definitely do believe in the law of attraction. I've nearly finished a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I would recommend it. And basically, the misconception around manifesting and the law of attraction is that you think of something and it appears with no actions being taken in between to help that thing materialize. So for example, a typical example of this would be if someone's like, I want a Ferrari. I'm gonna think of a Ferrari every single day, and then one day I'm gonna wake up and it's just gonna be that. That's just not how it works. But what Napoleon speaks about in the book is basically you think about something, you have to truly believe it, like feel how you would feel if that were true. Map out how you're gonna get there, so the actions that you need to take, what you're willing to sacrifice, and then you'll achieve it in the long run. So an exercise that I do, which is actually from the book, is where, and I think you can do this for all things, it doesn't have to be just for financial, but you basically write out what you want to have. So for example, if it's financial, it's like state the amount of money you wish to have in your bank account and state the date on which you want to have it in your account. So for example, I could say, so mine was by the 31st of December, I want to have £100,000 in my bank account, just there. So by the 31st of December, I want to have £100,000 in my bank account. And then after that, you say what you're willing to sacrifice. So in order to get to that £100,000 by the 31st of December, what am I willing to sacrifice to get there? And I wrote down, actually, you know what? Let me see if I have it here, because I know I wrote this all out. So, I intend to give my time, determination, and dedication. That's what I wrote down. And then you have to write out the steps that you're gonna take to make it happen. So what's the middle ground between point A of you thinking this and point B of you having this amount? And then I've literally listed out the steps. So I plan to accumulate this money by carrying out the following tasks: daily outreach, meditation, reading, and daily visualization, a weekly YouTube video to establish authority in my space. Work towards launching my high ticket coaching offer, which has already happened. Act as a leader to best serve my customers by changing their lives. Striving to be my best self and my services every day through learning something new. So that's like my paragraph that I say to myself every morning, every night. And what you want to do is you want to attach feeling to it, because your brain can't tell the difference between reality and not reality. So for example, like conscious, like a dream, it doesn't know that a dream didn't happen in real life, which is why a lot of the time we'll have a nightmare or a bad dream, we'll wake up and we'll feel anxious and stressed. It's because your body didn't know that it didn't actually happen. So it's kind of like freaking out. So that's what I do. It's like you write it out, try this and see how it works, and then you want to visualize it. So every morning before I wake up, I'll read through it, I'll imagine it, I'll think about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to sacrifice, the steps I'm going to take to get there, and you do that every single day. And I started doing this about a month ago, and within 2 weeks, and I think obviously this is kind of correlated to like the end result, but I closed 3 clients for my high ticket coaching. I just like launched it. Like I've not done the official launch yet, but I've got like a beta group going on. So I'm letting people in at half price, basically like with a big discount, taking people onto that group. And I just closed like 3 clients. And I was like, that's so weird. And I wasn't even planning on selling it to anyone. I just had the perfect clients on a sales call, and they were the perfect avatar that I'd mapped out for this high ticket coaching offer. And I know this isn't like directly correlational, but I genuinely believe that stuff, it's the mindset that it puts you into, like the mindset of abundance and knowing that you can achieve something, what you're willing to do to get there. It puts me in the correct frame of mind, which opens me up to opportunities and stuff that I would probably mentally block myself from if I hadn't done it. So I don't know if that's like, it's not a great example of something that's already happened, but I've just started doing that, like practicing law of attraction and doing it like that, and that's kind of what's happened to me. I think it's probably happened in lots of other ways in my life, in like smaller ways, whether it's the people that I brought into my life, certain like relationships, friendships, stuff like that. I think that all comes from the energy that you put out, and what you kind of put into the world is what you're going to receive. I do believe in that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Why did you start your agency and the reason behind it? Now, the reason I actually started my business is quite a funny, like, not a funny story, but it's kind of the opposite as to what you would expect with an entrepreneur. So for me, my business came from a place of scarcity, not abundance. So I didn't start my agency because I was like super happy and like pumped and it was like my dream job and what I wanted to do. I started it because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was so lost. And at that point in my life, I had like given up on different careers. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt super just lost. Like I didn't know. I had no idea what direction I wanted my life to go in. And it's tough. And like a lot of us have been there. You've probably been there before, whether it's a career choice, relationships, friendships, all this stuff. We always come across decisions that we need to make, or maybe where it's kind of tough for us to say which direction we want to go in. But for me, I dropped out of university because I realized I wasn't passionate about my degree. I dropped out of university. I did multiple different jobs. I was doing door-to-door marketing. I was working so hard. I was working like 70 hours a week. I hadn't taken a day off since I started. I was just run down, like emotionally, physically exhausted. And I was just like, what is this? Like, why am I working so hard for? Like, I can't do this forever. Like, I can't imagine doing this for the rest of my life. Like, what do I really want to do? And that's how I kind of came across online marketing. It was actually through my ex-boyfriend. So he's in like the digital marketing space. He has a bunch of like online programs speaking about like building your agency, stuff like that. And I went through one of his programs and I was like, okay, this is like an option that I could take to build my own business. It was either like Amazon FBA, drop shipping, agency. I thought agency sounded cool. You don't need to invest money up front. You can kind of just go and do it. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this agency stuff. So I started trying to do that. I struggled for a while. Like, I think I had one client for about a year. And yeah, that's kind of how the agency grew, like it's kind of where it came from. But in the end, I think I've done it a little bit backwards, because when I started, because I was in like a place where I was just confused and lost, I couldn't appreciate what I had as much in terms of the business, because like having flexibility, waking up whenever you want, like all this stuff, I wasn't in the right headspace to be grateful and be excited about building the business, because I was in a place where I was like, I need to make money. So everything that I was doing, I saw it as a chore and a job to survive, not because I enjoyed it and like the process. Which now I've had like this switch where now I freaking love what I do, because it gives me freedom. I enjoy it. I enjoy helping my clients. I'm working with the people that I want to work with. So for me, it doesn't feel like a job anymore, because I'm like, I just enjoy doing it. It's just part of like my day and I'm happy. So my agency originally came from a place of being lost, not knowing what to do, lack of direction, kind of just picked something that I knew I could be my own boss in. So yeah, long story short, I would say, but that kind of took me a while. So next question, what's your opinion on being a woman and boss in a company? I actually speak about this in a video that I just filmed, which I'll put up in a couple of days' time. I definitely think that there are preconceptions. I'll try not to tell you like, because I went through like a whole storyline in my other video, so you watch out for that video and watch that, because you'll have like a more in-depth answer. But my opinions are that no matter who you are, so your age, your gender, all that stuff, it shouldn't be a block unless you let it. And I know in a lot of circumstances it could be that you're in like a corporate situation where you've got a problem with a manager or a boss. If it's that kind of situation, speak to that person directly. If they don't listen, go to HR, go to someone who's above them and complain and sort it out. A lot of the time, like people don't ask for certain treatment, but there are stereotypes and preconceptions that people will have over you just by like a 10-second glance. And I can only speak from like a female perspective, not from a male. But for example, when I started my agency and when I started even like doing door-to-door sales, which is kind of what the story's about in the other video, but when I started working for myself, let's say, there were a lot of preconceptions, and I think I got looked at as just a young girl who was like, didn't really get taken seriously and didn't really know what she was talking about. And I take partial responsibility for that, because you can always improve on how you pitch the knowledge that you have in your product. I was just starting out, so I probably didn't do that in the best way. But the one thing I will not apologize for is being like young and female, and whether that relates to me like having more success or less success pitching a dude, for example, like pitching like someone who's male, because that was like a thing that came up a lot with door-to-door sales. There's a lot of guys assuming that I was in that role because of my just image and like being a girl, like a young girl. They're like, oh, we bet you guys, like your company just hires young women to go and pitch middle-aged men, because you know you're going to have more sales. Like that kind of stuff really irritated me. And I think there are those preconceptions, but what I've focused on now is, luckily I'm at a point in my business where I don't have to work with people I don't want to work with. And I know that when you're starting out, you're probably taking on clients that aren't going to pay you as high, or maybe taking on a couple of clients that you know are going to be a pain in the ass, but you need the money, or clients that you don't particularly like get on with that well, but you're like, it's cash, I need to get them in. I understand that sometimes you have to do that, but if you can, you want to work with the kind of people that are going to respect you and that appreciate you and that see how good you are at what you do. And if they don't, then you don't want to work with them. So my kind of, not philosophy, but how I run my business now is, I'm just going to be the most authentic version of myself. I'm going to be true to who I am, and I'm going to be true to who I am. And if someone else doesn't like that, then I don't want to work with them. So for example, if like a corporate company sees that I've posted a bikini photo on Instagram and they don't want to work with me, and that could have been like £10,000, I don't care, because I'm going to post whatever I want to post, and I'm going to attract who I want to attract with my brand. So you've got to create a balance as well. I'm not saying like be unprofessional and just like, you know, like do whatever you want to do. Like you've got to have an air of professionalism and like know what kind of market you're speaking to and appealing to. But for my market, the people I work with, a lot of like agency owners, not huge corporate companies, more like SMEs, like small to medium businesses, entrepreneurs, new agency owners, stuff like that, consultants. A lot of the people that I work with, I mean, all the people I work with at the moment, like my agency clients are cool, people I work with in the high ticket coaching program, awesome people, I love all of them, which is why I enjoy what I do, because they like me, they like my personality, they like what I stand for, and we get on so well, and it just makes business 10 times happier. So I don't know if that answered your question, I hope it does, but I think it can definitely be difficult, but don't let it push you down, and think about the ways in which you can position yourself through the value that you give. And you might, like, the truth of the matter is that you might actually have to try harder than someone else. But you know what? Just do it. Just be like, I'm going to prove myself. Just prove it by being the smartest person in that room, coming to the table with the most value, fresh ideas, and just demand to be heard. And just carry on. And if you're not getting heard where you currently are, then move and go somewhere else, because you should never kind of get pushed into a box. And if you feel like you're pushed into a box wherever you are right now, then it's probably not the right place for you. So that's my opinion. Will you marry me? Yes, I will. I would love nothing more, and I miss you so much. What is your star sign? So I am a Cancer. I've literally spoken to a couple people about this over the past couple of days. So literally like 3 friends in the past 48 hours. We've like compared star signs and seen what the traits are and stuff. I would say I identify with what is online about Cancer signs, probably around 70 to 80% I would say is pretty accurate, and then the other 20% I would say is quite maybe like generalist or just not really me. But yeah, so I'm a Cancer, 21st of July. I am an emotional person, but I'm very like empathetic, warm, loving. Trying to think of like any like the downsides and stuff, just to give you like both, so I'm not just like hyping Cancers up. But Cancers are like warm, loving, they like to have like a home, so they like to build and like have stability, so they're normally good with finances, which I have not been the best with finances, so I wish I could say that, so that's probably inaccurate about me. Downsides, they're quite sensitive, so they'll take things to heart. So if you say something to them, like if someone's mean to me, I'll just cry, like no, maybe not cry, but I'll take things to heart that people say to me, and I don't like having confrontations with people, so I'll normally avoid resolving a situation if it means I have to confront them, just because I get uncomfortable around it, which I guess could be a downside, which is something that I've actually worked on a lot, is like just being more vocal about situations and like confronting situations and like knowing what I want and what I don't want, and like staying true to my values, I think is awesome. But yeah, that's my star sign. Where are you traveling to next? It depends where you're traveling to, honey. I have no idea. I am thinking about visiting the States. I was thinking about going to LA at the end of the year, but I'm not too sure. Aside from that, I would love to go back to London. My plan was to come back to Cape Town over Cape Town summer, which would be British winter, and do that. But I'm just not too sure. I'm open to ideas, to be honest. Let me know down below where you guys recommend I travel to next, because I kind of feel like this is going to end up being like a half travel channel, because I travel around so much. How is single life treating you? Fantastic. I guess it doesn't really make much of a difference because I'm at home all the time, so what am I going to do? But being single has been great. I think it's awesome. I think relationships are amazing. Like being in a long-time relationship and being single are both equally as fantastic, and you can gain a lot from both situations. Me as a person, I love both. Like I think I love being in a relationship. I love having somebody there. Like I'm a very like loyal person. Like I like having people close to me, whether it's like friends or like a romantic relationship. So I love being in a relationship, but I also am completely happy being by myself, and I love having time alone to kind of like focus on me and what I want to do, and it helps me have drive and passion for my business and everything that's important to me, because I think a lot of the time in a relationship sometimes you lose sight of who you are as a person and you kind of blend into one with the other. So it's really good to maintain a level of autonomy, I would say, so that your independence, making sure that you still have you as a person, so that without that other person you're still like, you're fine, you're all good. So yeah, single life's been good. I've enjoyed being by myself. It's been really nice. Next question. Do you do any particular diet to stay in shape? Paleo, vegan? If so, how is it working for you? I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't have a particular diet. I'm quite healthy. I love sugar. Like I have the sweetest tooth ever. Like I have such a sweet tooth, but I also love savory, which poses the problem that I love everything. I love all food except for canned tuna. That I really don't like canned tuna. Everything else, love it, super easy with food. But I don't eat a particular diet. I'm aware, like it's kind of like I intuitively eat, and I tend to have similar meals because I don't really get bored of food, so I don't need to mix up my diet too much, and I'm pretty happy with it. Just to give you like an example of what I eat in the day, I'm looking towards the kitchen to try and like trigger inspiration. For breakfast, I usually don't eat breakfast. I usually have my first meal around 2 p.m. just because I do all my deep work in the morning, and it normally makes me a bit hazy because all my like blood flow is going to like digestion instead of my brain, so I can't think as well. If I do eat breakfast, actually it's what I eat as my first meal anyway. So I have like 2 meals a day and then I have snacks in between. So my first meal of the day is porridge. So I'll normally have oats with protein powder, with banana, peanut butter, frozen berries, and a little bit of honey. Love it, like a big bowl of oats, because it really just fills me up. Carbs, fruit, sweet tooth, all that good stuff. And then I'll usually have a snack after that. So a couple hours later, normally have avocado, and I normally make 2 chicken breasts the night before. Like every night I normally cook 2 chicken breasts, either eat them both, or if I have one left over, I'll put it on rice cakes with avocado. So I'll normally have a whole avocado on 3 rice cakes with chicken. So this is kind of a second meal, I think. I'll have that. And then throughout the day, in terms of snacking, I love almonds, like salted roasted almonds, so good. I love yogurt, so like full fat Greek yogurt is really good. Dried peaches, dried mango, dried fruit, dark chocolate, all that good stuff. And then for dinner, I'll basically always have one of these 2 meals. So I'll either have pasta with chicken and like spinach, so I'll have like spinach with chicken and like a sauce pasta, or I'll have chicken and roasted vegetables. So I'll put oven in the chicken. I'll put chicken in the oven alongside loads of roasted veggies. So eggplant, I always forget the name of this vegetable. It's like a green, why have I forgotten what this is? Green vegetable. Which vegetables are green? This is gonna be impossible. Like a cucumber. Zucchini. Yeah, I think it's a zucchini. Yeah, so zucchini. I love zucchini. Zucchini, butternut, broccoli, green beans, all that good stuff. I'll basically make a huge tray. So when I have 2 meals a day, I'm eating for like a family of like 20 because I eat a lot, like my portions are really big. Because it just takes a lot for me to feel full. So I'll have like a whole bag of veggies, which is probably for 3 people. I'll eat all of that. And then I'll have it with 1 or 2 chicken breasts. And I don't put any sauces or anything on it. I literally just have salt, pepper. Sometimes I use turmeric and cumin on my veggies, which is really nice. And that's basically all I eat. And then I'll have a cup of tea before bed, not caffeinated, so like a rooibos tea, which if you're from the UK, it's like this South African thing. It's quite nice. Rooibos tea before bed. And I eat pancakes all the time. Like I've developed this obsession with pancakes and banana bread, which is so like, I mean, it's, yeah, not very original compared to everyone else online at the moment. But yeah, me and my flatmate make about 3 banana breads a week, and we'll just cut the loaf in half and have that in one sitting with honey and peanut butter. So that's been a great treat. Okay, so next question. How has your life changed from 0 to 6 figures? It's hard to say because I've moved around quite a lot. Like there's so many things that have changed in my life, which makes it hard to kind of have like a standard to compare against. I would say the main thing that's changed has been my mindset and my stress levels, because when you are struggling for money, it's like the worst thing in the world is to not have money and to not know when you're next going to get it, and to feel like you're just on a hamster wheel, like you're working but you don't feel motivated because you can't see the return yet. So it's like, it's the worst thing for like your mindset, and then you just end up in this rut, which is really hard to pull out of. So I would say the biggest thing that's changed is mindset, realizing that I can do it. Actually, like story time. So this tattoo, I don't know if you can like see it very well. So this is in Chinese and it stands for self-belief. I got it for my birthday about 3 years ago. Yeah, 2 to 3 years ago now, when I was in Paris, and I didn't know what to get. I didn't know what to get as a tattoo. It stands for self-belief, and basically at the time I was trying to build my business and I was really struggling. I was kind of like just in like a pit. Like I just felt like I was doing the same thing, not getting returns, and I was like, what is something that I can have which is never going to run out and it's always going to be relevant to me no matter what point of my life I'm in. And that thing, like the thing that I was struggling with the most, is believing in myself and telling myself that I could do it, which is, I know it might seem cliche, which is why I didn't get it in English, because then I thought, I'm normally in the UK, so a lot of people wouldn't understand it. But yeah, that's the main reason that I got it, is just as a reminder to myself to believe in myself no matter what. And yeah, it's like the only tattoo that I have, but I would say my self-belief is the biggest thing, because you basically have like the finances, like you'll realize that when you have, and I'm not at that point yet, but like if for example I was making millions of pounds a year, like I see it in other people around me, like the money doesn't make you happy, and you end up, you buy something new, it makes you happy for like 2 days and then it wears off. Like the real things that make you happy are having people in your life that you love, people to share it with and to like support you, and that's the real stuff that matters. So having too much money and not having enough money, I think can both be a curse, but if you can use it to learn the right lessons, such as believing in yourself, taking away from that financial success that you've got to where you are because of you and no one else, that's a pretty awesome feeling. So yeah, I would say the biggest thing that's changed is my mindset and shifting from scarcity to abundance. So next question, how do you feel to be alone in your business journey? This is really sad. I wouldn't say I'm alone, I hope I'm not alone, but I know what you mean. So for example, like I work by myself, my team's remote, so I don't have like an office or like anyone immediately next to me who's like doing what I'm doing, which kind of sucks. And especially like there's not many women my age in my space, so it's hard sometimes to get motivation and inspiration. Like I'm part of a program where I have like mentors and stuff, so that's a really good sense of support, and that's been like the best thing for me, is to invest in myself, invest in my business, because having a mentor or having someone to hold me accountable has proved to not only like make you feel less lonely, but also to set a benchmark, mean that you're going to hit your targets. And when you work for yourself, it is pretty lonely. Like you can get pretty bored when you're at home all the time, especially in lockdown. Like I'm a social person, I like to connect and meet people, and I've got so much energy that I need to get rid of, and at the moment I can't really do that, which is quite frustrating. But I wouldn't say I'm alone in my journey, but I try and identify with people who are as similar to my position as I can do. So I have like a bunch of friends who are like female entrepreneurs who are online, you know who you are, people that I've probably never met. Most of them, yeah, I've never met in person, but I know of them online, and just speaking to them, like having phone calls with them, like making sure that I have as much as of a community which relates to me and like other business owners in a similar position helps a lot, to just remind myself that I'm not alone. So that's that one. Is Cape Town safe? I've heard it isn't really safe. What's your opinion? I mean, it's a bit sketchy. It has been a bit sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. I've had a couple instances where I've not been safe, and like long story short, without going too far into it, I was staying in an Airbnb, and online it looked really nice. And when I got there, it turns out it's in one of the most notoriously dangerous buildings for Cape Town. I was paying like £1,000 a month, which for here is quite a lot of money, because this place that I'm in at the moment is £400 each. We've got a balcony, a pool, and 2 ensuite bedrooms. £400 each. Insane, but also our Wi-Fi's broken at the moment, so I guess you have to sacrifice on some things. But yeah, Cape Town, I think it's also common sense. Be careful who you go. What am I trying to say? Be careful where you go and what time you go at. Like for example, I love running at nighttime, which I know is a really dangerous, like weird thing to enjoy. But I love running when it's really dark, and for some reason in the morning, not really a morning person, at nighttime I have loads of energy, and I always have this need to go and run really fast at like 11 p.m. And I could probably do that in London in certain areas and be okay. Or like back home, Chesterfield is like where I'm originally from, and I used to go on runs late at night or really early in the morning when it was pitch black, and I know I'd be pretty safe. But here, No, probably not a good choice. So yeah, just be careful. Common sense, go with the right people, make sure that you're going to the right area, like do some research, ask some locals before you go, and you should be okay, because it is a beautiful, beautiful country. The scenery, the mountains, the people are amazing, like all the other stuff, it makes it kind of worth it. So that's that. What's the biggest life lesson you've learned so far? I have learned so many life lessons. I would say, okay, so the biggest one would be that the only person in charge of your current situation is you, because it's very easy to look around you and blame others. So whether it's like your upbringing, so say, oh, I'm how I am because of my mum or my dad, or I'm how I am because of my boyfriend or my girlfriend, or I'm like this because my friends did this. That's like, they're not controlling your actions. They can influence and impact them, but at the end of the day, you're the only person who decides who you are and what you put out into the world. I think a lot of the time, especially with business, it's easy to try and blame external factors. So I could be like, oh, I was meant to cold call 100 calls today, but then like I had this email that I had to reply to, and then like my friend called me crying. That's my fault if I didn't do 100 cold calls. It's not my friend that's upset. It's not the person that sent me the email. So I think that would be the biggest lesson I've learned, is that regardless of my situation, whether I'm having my biggest month financially ever, or whether I'm having the worst month financially, that's my fault. And I need to take responsibility for that. And if I'm in a place where I'm not happy about it, what can I do to get out of it? That'll be my biggest lesson. What is the first meal you will have in London? Ooh, great question. Okay, so there's a place called Signor Sassi, which is an Italian restaurant in Knightsbridge, and they have this pasta called the Monte Carlo, and it is monkfish with like a creamy tomato sauce. Oh my god, it is so good. My mouth is watering. It is so good. I would love to have that right now. And what they do in the restaurant as well is they give you a plate of cheese, like Parmesan blocks, before, like as like a starter. I'm watering up. Yeah, so I think that would be the best meal. I'm gonna move on before I cry about this, because I really miss that dish. It's the best dish ever. And I love creamy pasta, if you want to know that about me. Do you love, not gonna speak this one out, your top 3 goals for 2020? Top 3 goals for 2020. Be happy, live long and prosper. No, I would say, because my goals have changed. This is really bad of me, because I'm always like, you need to set your goals, but I've actually been quite bad at it this year. My top 3 goals, do I have it in this? Yes. You can actually see, I have like I wrote this all out for 2020. And basically I split it into personal, health, wealth, and relationship. So 3 of the goals, for example, when it comes to my health, meditation daily, so 5 times a week to meditate, yoga once a week, and practicing self-love. So I know some of these goals aren't completely tangible, some of them are. That's health. When it comes to relationships with my friends, focus on having a close inner circle that support me and that I can fully trust. Family, call family members once a week. Romantic, maintain independence and self-worth if in a relationship. Focus on being the best version of myself, working on my goals, and what does that say? Knowing my worth. And then when it comes to wealth, yearly £100,000 plus profits, that's still my goal. And I've broken it down to agency clients and stuff. So basically goals, wealth, 100k, profit by the end of the year, health, meditate 5 times a week, and relationship, call family members, have people around me that I can trust and that support me, and remove toxic people from my life. So they're kind of like the goals. So they're not all business related. And then I have little separate business goals that depend on the quarter. So like if I'm like launching a product, something like that, then that will change as well. So my 3 goals for 2020. How are you? I am good, thank you for asking. I am very well. And what qualities attract you in men? Oh, good question. Do you know, I just got a bit shy. I don't know. I would say I'm quite a simple person. Like, it's not going to be anything that's like shockingly different, but the 3 things that are essential for me are being able to trust you, communication, and honesty, which I guess ties in with trust. Those three things, like without those three things, I don't think there's a relationship. It just doesn't exist, or if it does, it's not a healthy one. Qualities, aside from those three things, like if I feel those three things, what else would I look for? I would say someone that is driven, so they have something going for themselves. Like for myself, I'm like building a business, like I'm building something, and I want somebody else who has their own passion and drive. Like they have a purpose in life that they're working towards, which is like separate from me. Because a lot of people think that they want a boyfriend who is like, you're gonna be his world, but like in reality, like what's really attractive is when a guy has something going for himself. Like I don't find it attractive if a guy like does nothing, like he doesn't have like a purpose, he's not doing something that he enjoys or he's passionate about. And it doesn't matter if he's like successful at it or not, like how much money he's making from that thing, but just to have a passion and a drive and something that they like care about, I find really attractive. Something else would be, it's a good question because I've not really asked this to myself. I've never really like thought about it. Someone who gets on really well with my friends, like who cares about my friends and my family, because I always think it's like, it kind of sucks, you know, if you've got someone that you can't introduce to other people, what is the fun in that? Like I want someone who's like friendly and bubbly, kind of like me, but can also keep me grounded, because I'm very like, I can be quite like airy fairy world, just like think of loads of cool ideas. Like I'm quite a creative person in a very logical space. So I have like I have an analytical brain, but at the same time, I can get carried away with my ideas like super, which probably comes back to like being a Cancer, but I can get loads of ideas and be like, oh my God, I want to do this. And I need to kind of stay focused, and I would want someone who knows where they're going, and they also help me stay on the right path and like remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing, and like want to like build and grow with me in the same direction. So they would be like the qualities that I look for. I think they're kind of it. That was a good question. I'll probably think of like loads more as soon as I stop recording. I'm gonna be like, oh, these 5 things are what I look for. But I mean, for like off the top of my head, those are the things that I find attractive. And obviously you have to be like physically attracted to them as well. Like I've mentioned everything else, but like physical attraction has to be there. I don't have a specific type. Like I don't care if someone's got like brown hair or blonde hair. They have to be taller than me, and I have to be attracted to them. That's basically it. So I think that's it for the video. I basically answered all of the questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Let me know what you thought down below, and I might start doing these more often if you find them interesting. But thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Let me know what you thought down below, and I will see you in the next one.